Alright folks, this is where it starts. I've been promising you some fabrication, and I'm going to get going on it right now. So the first project I had planned for the LJ that I intend to build on my own instead of going out and paying $600 freaking for, or $300 or whatever, is a front bumper. And I've talked about that a number of times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it is that I have in mind for my front bumper, and then I've always been told if you can cut it out of cardboard, you can cut it out of steel. So I've got some cardboard here, and I'm going to try to mock up a front bumper. I don't have any steel yet. I don't have, I have nothing but a idea for what I want this thing to look like, and some cardboard for the moment. So what I'm going to try to do is make a prototype of my bumper that I have in here out of cardboard. And once I have it made out of cardboard, I should have an idea of how much steel I will need. Once I know how much steel I'll need, then I can actually start making a bumper. Okay, so what do I have in mind for a bumper? Well, first I'm going to tell you about what I have and why I like it the way it is. Then I'm going to tell you about what I'd like to improve. So, first of all, what I have is a stock TJ front bumper that I've cut down to, I don't know, probably a little more than 48 inches. Let's find out. That I've cut down to 44 inches. So, what I like is, I like the width because it gives me just a little bit of protection for where the anti-rock is at. But I like it to be stubby. The shortest I might go is 42 inches. I definitely want it to extend at least a little bit past the frame. So 42 would be like right here. Right? That's not much shorter. Maybe 40, I don't know. This is very scientifical, as you can tell. .40 would get me right to about here, where this taper ends. Right? So that could be what I shoot for, I don't know. 44 is not too bad either. Otherwise, there isn't much to love about this bumper. It's got these factory death spikes on them. The little rubber bumper thingies. I see no reason to keep them. I think these are here for in case I get into a traffic accident, and they're there to absorb a little bit of shock, which is fine if you're driving this thing daily. I'm not. Not much, anyway. So what I'm going to do is Crawltech, I think it is. They make a really cool looking stubby bumper that's a little wider or taller than what's here, and it's got an integrated winch mount, right? It comes down to the bottom of the frame and then comes up a tad and has a winch mount built into it. Then I'm going to build a winch plate that goes on top of the frame here, bolt to the factory bolting hardware, and then will be capable of accepting a winch. Will I have a winch by the end of this series? I don't know. Maybe I will. Likely not, because winches are expensive. So I may build it with the winch in mind, leaving room to drill it for a winch once I have one, which will hopefully come in the next year or two. I'm going to put a little bit of priority on getting one, because I've been wheeling without one for a very long time, and I got nothing against winches. In fact, I like the concept behind a winch. I've just never had the money to buy one. So hopefully I can try to change that once I have a nice bumper to mount them to. That's the other thing. Part of the expense of a winch is a place to mount it. And dang, bumpers for TJs and JKs are expensive. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is get this bumper off. I'm not going to bother showing you how to do that because it's 1, 2, 3 bolts on each side, and then it just comes right off. So I'm going to get it off, and then I'm going to start playing with cardboard. Arts and craft time. Okay, bumper's off. Sorry, I'm holding my tripod, mainly because I want to show you guys something. There's a bunch of people that argue that this is not an LJ, but it's a TJU. Lies. See this tag here? clearly printed right there. LJ. How the grill is different on an LJ, I don't know. Or what this tag is even for, I don't know. But it says LJ on it, damn it. Okay. So, obviously, these bolts come out, and then there's this plastic thing that goes here. There's little bolts on the side that come out. Now, completely exposed front of my frame. You can see the anti-rock here. The bumper's going to have to work around this, probably by sort of U-ing around it there. That's how Crawltech does it. They basically have a big round hole here that goes over that, and then the bumper extends past slightly. So that's what I want to do here. It doesn't necessarily have to look exactly like Crawltech's, but I like the way they did it. It sort of folds, the top of the bumper kind of folds down and fits over this, and that's kind of what I want to do here. I figure that'll add some rigidity to this side of the plate. I'll put some rigidity back here as well. Got to deal with the steering box, of course. So when I put the plate down, it's going to have some kind of a relief here to get around that. Winch will go about here, I would think, right? Maybe it'll extend forward some. I don't know if I'll make the bumper stick out from the front of the frame a little more so that I have more room to mount the winch. That might be okay, because I got to account for this guy. Alright, so the front of the frame is, at minimum, 33 inches. So, 40 inches would look something like that. 4, 36, yeah. So right around there would be a 40-inch wide bumper. It's not looking too bad, if you ask me. Maybe I'll go 40. In the front, that is. However, if I want to wrap around the frame like I was talking about, I need to leave room for that. Yeah, no. So if I go 40 inches wide, I can trim this and there, fold it down around. Some hardware over here for the steering box I got to worry about. Maybe an inch and a half down. I want the biggest sheet of cardboard we can come up with. Here we go. We want to go 40 inches wide. Let's see how wide. That's only 24. That's not even 40. Dang. Well, it's 39 and a half. Is that a good way to decide how wide my bumper should be? Maybe. This isn't cut to fit around the anti-rock or anything, but I just want to see if it's right around where it's supposed to be. Seems to be. That fits right around like it's supposed to. Cool. Now, we need to figure out where to cut for the steering box. about right. I'm just going to cut a box out of there for now. I'll be right back. So that's the basic idea. This would be eventually cut out to a circle or something, just enough to really do that, right? So that those aren't interfered with by the bumper. Then this comes down, got a good gap between it and the front of the frame. Then it'll probably come down by maybe 4 inches, 2 inches. What, 4 inches? Should be about 4 inches. Should come down about 4 inches, then it'll go back under the frame. And then these I need to cut out so that they are clearanced for the anti-rock. Maybe those don't even need to be there. The idea is having these folded down like this gives you more rigidity, right? So if I can clearance this for the anti-rock, or maybe I just cut it here, right? And then it's open for the anti-rock, and then this goes down next to the frame. And then there's a weld here, right, holding this solid. That becomes another angle, right? Keeps this plate from bending. And then, I didn't even think about this when I cut all this, this back lip would also have the same thing done to it, where it's upward and welded, right? So then across here you have some rigidity. And then across the front, I'll probably have some kind of a structure to use to mount the winch behind, and that'll give rigidity to the front. That'll give rigidity to the front of it. Plus, this here will, right? So, in all, this should be a very strong place to mount the winch once I have one. All right, folks. So I kind of cut you out of a bit of the process. One, I had to charge the camera. And two, I work better when I have music on, and I'm pretty sure the folks who do copyright infringement detection for Rammstein would not have appreciated me playing Rammstein in the background. So, I kind of got a bit done, and I'm going to show you what I did. But here it is. Here's the basic prototype of what I want to build. Now, obviously, when a winch is mounted on here, I will make some sort of a plate here for the fair lead, right? And of course, I'll have to drill all this for mounting of the winch. And I forgot about the rear lip here I was talking about. So I left myself a little note that says add an inch here for a bend. But with how close it is to the grill, I may not do that. And instead I may just cut and bend it, right? See, I left myself a gap here for the steering box. I don't know, this may stay or maybe won't. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut all this at an angle. I don't know. We'll see how it strikes me once I get the steel and do it that way. Let me put you onto a different handheld thing so I can move you around better. Okay, now we can move around a little better. So here's what we got. This nice broad area on top here to mount a winch on. And that's my goal. I want to make sure there's enough room there for a winch, right? Like I said, I'll probably make a plate for the front of it once I have a winch in hand so that I can decide the dimensions that it needs to be. I'm sure there's a standard. Maybe I can look that up and cut one out. That rear lip, maybe I will add an inch and then fold up, or maybe I'll fold it up as it is. I think I'll decide once I have steel, because one thing about cardboard is it's very similar to steel, but it may not be identical once I do these bends. In fact, these bends may end up being cuts and welds, depending on if my little technique that I want to try works out. This, I decided to go with a slight, taper back here, and then this may get cut like this. I don't know. We'll see. I don't like this because it's sharp, and there's really no reason for it to be there. Maybe I'll score it, fold it down. I don't know. The thing I need to think about is access to the anti-rock, because I need to be able to, from time to time, take this arm off and get in there to grease it. You can also get a good look at how sort of the side profile here. I went with this because I think it'll, if it contacts something, it'll ride over a little better. This here I didn't actually intend to cut out. So when I do this for real, I don't know what I'm going to do here. But basically what I want to do is bend this back and maybe taper here. Maybe the whole thing gets cut at a taper. You can see I was working it out here, and I don't like this. So I may do something more down here to go along with this lower taper here, right? So there it is, my prototype bumper. I like the look of it. I like how stubby it is. I like how simple it is, because I'm a simple sort of person. The outer edges, I'll probably buy some pre-made shackle mounts and weld them on there. I don't know if I can make them myself, because they're usually made of like inch-thick steel, and that I'm just not set up to create. I'm not set up to work with metal that thick. The look of the fender, or not the fender, the look of the grill there, I don't know about that. Maybe I'll do something to cover that up. Maybe I'll make the lip high enough that it covers that up. I just don't know. Not sure what maybe the winch will hide that, it won't matter. I don't know. It looks okay the way it is, I suppose, but that's what the plastic sway bar cover usually hides, so I don't know. Once I get further into this, I'll figure out what to do there. So there you go. All in all, this took me like an hour and a half to figure out. I used box tape in place of welds where I needed to get some rigidity so I could see how it was going to look. And in all, I'm liking it so far. I think it's going to work out really well. So the next step is I'm going to take this all back off. I can use it as a template to measure and figure out how much steel I'm going to need. I'll basically need a plate like 40 or so inches wide by, I don't know, 20 inches deep. It's not a lot of steel. And then once I have it, I can start the actual work of turning it into a bumper. So that's it for this one, folks. There you go. That's how you can prototype your fabrication using cardboard. Now, obviously, this wouldn't work on stuff like suspension links or whatever, but you could design a truss this way if you wanted to, or you could design a rear bumper this way, or pretty much anything that you can fold out of cardboard, anything that's easy and boxy, you can make out of cardboard before you buy steel. Obviously, if you have access to like a CAD program or something, that's a better way to do it, because you can get pretty exact. But this works well for me because I like to work with my hands. I like to see it in person. Now, if I did have a CAD app, what I could do is take the dimensions for this that I've already figured out now, and then I could put them into a CAD app and tweak them and fiddle with them and whatever. It's even easier than working with cardboard, because obviously if I wanted to make a core change to the way this thing is designed, I'd have to scrap it and start a whole new cardboard session. Cardboard's pretty easy to work with, but it's still time consuming. If I had done this out of steel without making this prototype first, every little mistake would have been hours of frustration. So this is a great way to prototype if you don't have access to a CAD program or some sort of a draftsman or something, or a skill to use those things. So there you have it. If you like this, stay tuned, and as soon as I have the funds to actually purchase steel, I'm going to start working on actually building this bumper. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something today. If you like the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, that helps me show up to more folks who maybe want to learn. And if you really like the channel and you want to buy some swag, head on over to SWBCrawler.com, where you can buy t-shirts and stickers and whatever else I decide to design for you folks. So, call that my third or fourth job, apparel design. God, YouTube is a lot of work, folks. All right. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Hey you! You stuck around to the end of the video. You're awesome! You should probably hit the subscribe link up over here, and make sure you hit the notification bell. Otherwise, YouTube's not going to actually tell you when I produce something new. You can also support me via Patreon by clicking the link up over here. And if you like this video, you should probably check out the recommended content that's coming up down over here. If you want merch like I'm wearing right here, you should go to SWBCrawler.com and check out my shirts and hats and whatever else I've got for sale. Thanks for watching.